It's a scripture in the Bible. It goes by he who tills his land shall have an abundance of crops. And I think this is something that me and you both subscribe to. And when it comes to your manhood and just becoming the best possible version of yourself, where you always look for different places in your who you are in your existence, and how can I become better? And and it's crazy because you start to see, like, you see you when you was 20, you see who you are now, and you just see there's so much growth. And like I'm looking at you, and it's like I see so much growth from the man who was living in the Lexus. You know what I'm saying? to now, you know what I'm saying?
That joke was about to fall apart.
Almost killed himself in that damn Lexus.
Yeah, that
But
thing.
hey,
was
but I
the-
tell you what, he did not look what he went through, though. He did not look like what he went through.
Because he didn't live in that reality
Exactly.
in his mind. And we talked about this on, I think another guest was on, and he was like, oh, tell me about the bad stuff that has happened to you. And he didn't have anything to say. He's
Oh
like,
yeah. It was a very challenging experience. I was a guest on somebody else's podcast, and his is called Living in My Mind. So he wanted to hear all the ups and downs of my whole life after moving to LA, and every part of it, he'd be like, okay, cool. So you went through this, and then like, how did it feel when you're down in the dumps with the?
Yeah.
But I avoided all of those things because I would just take it as a chip or whatever on my shoulder. I'd be like, all right, watch this, watch what I can do. I would never. So eventually I had to deal with a lot of that stuff. It just packed up in the back of my brain. But anytime I felt like I couldn't do something, I just, no, watch this, and kept pushing forward. So it was a really great like foundation of like who I am. But I didn't realize that that's what I did and how it could potentially affect me negatively down the road. Because eventually, if you're not dealing with any of those little things, you're just pushing them to the back of your mind. Eventually, you're gonna have to detangle some of that. But that's also what propelled me.
Of course.
like our therapist says, you needed those mechanisms before. It worked for you, but now it doesn't. It doesn't work for you anymore.
Yeah,
I love that. So they always deal with stuff like that in Billions. I love that TV show. But
we need to watch it.
I guess.
it's in the last season. You got to watch it.
Good.
but-
Have to binge.
Yeah, of course. But no, I guess so your ego is always going to create ways for you to survive.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's all those things is just your ego you're just creating ways for you just to survive. And you using those mechanisms to I guess further your cause, right? Or further like to call your mind to arms, and we're gonna go do this, right? To champion these things. And it's crazy because those things work to get you there, but those things can't keep you there.
Yeah.
Because they become demonstrative and destructive because of what they're rooted in. And they're not rooted in accomplishment. It's rooted in fuck you, to be real with you.
And that fuck you was developed being a short kid in high school that couldn't actually fight with his fists, so he had to talk shit with his words. And then, which I'm really grateful for, how I grew up, because part of that foundation is I'm gonna prove you wrong. Watch
And
what I can do.
confidence.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you, because I couldn't compete with the other guys because they were bigger than me. So I was like, okay, watch what I can do. And then I eventually grew up. But if you keep on saying fuck you, it's not good when you get to an argument
Exactly.
with your girlfriend.
Yeah, that's not.
He knows
that
how to
little
cut.
guy, right? Yeah, because that little guy inside me is, so but luckily that's another thing with the growth. I'm so grateful for the people that I'm surrounded by, like yourself, where, we look to seek those different things, when to detangle them. And actually, one of the things that I know you did some of the To Be Magnetic work, right? So one of the girls, not the lead girl, but her I guess business partner, she came into a podcast guest somewhere else.
Natalie's ground up with Nat.
I love that.
Yeah, so she was on, but I was telling Jai about it because as we're going to therapy, couples therapy, and then therapy individually as well, and really expanding all that. But the To Be Magnetic I remember you did it.
I'm floored, but keep going.
No, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm couple therapy.
Oh yeah, it's been amazing. It was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you work together and you're in a relationship and you're living together, it's a lot of like blurred. The lines get blurred
So
we
many
had
times.
little things peeking their heads, but it was also like, okay, we don't want that to grow into full distractions
Yeah.
or
No, of
pillars they have
course.
to jump over. So yeah, we found this amazing couples therapist, and it's funny, some people we tell, because we're like I said, I'm so vocal about everything, But we want, so people are like, wait, you guys not doing well? Like, no, we're doing fantastic. Yeah. But we want to ensure that down the line.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's been
boundaries
really
are made to keep people in your life, not out your life.
And
I need people to
use them
understand
wrong. The people who use boundaries in the wrong way are using them to keep people out.
Exactly.
And that just keeps people out.
Exactly.
You got so many walls up that you're not allowing others.
And some people can't create boundaries and don't know how to draw boundaries. So that was infiltrating into our relationship too, because I can't tell people, I don't want to ever let anybody down. So I'm like, hey, no, you can stay as long as you want, do what you got to do. And she'd be like, I thought we were doing dinner and like a date night tonight. Like, well, they didn't leave yet. Like, tell them to leave. I'm like,
yeah,
I can't do that. And like clients and stuff, friends, I couldn't, but now, and she's been really helpful and obviously our therapist, but like drawing those boundaries so that I could protect myself and become the best version. Cause that's why I got 2 phones. That was a big boundary thing too. Great pick.
I love it.
But so that was a big step in my boundaries. But now I've been able to draw them where I've been able to see where it's necessary. And I see that it's hard, but I also see why I don't want to let people down. How that golden child syndrome that I like developed in my head growing up and not want to be perceived as the best version of myself always. And I don't ever fuck up anything. I'm like, oh shit, detangling all of that. And it all makes sense. And I love when shit makes sense. It's those breakthroughs are life changing.
The pieces start getting joined together. Like, the bigger picture starts happening.
That was the biggest thing for me, people pleasing and not wanting to, or feeling responsible for other people's feelings and not wanting to let anybody down. And also trying to protect someone from experiencing negative emotions, but by the byproduct being me looking out for myself. And so me respecting myself or me loving myself in saying no to you or saying no to this relationship, saying no to this friendship, or no, I can't show up for you this way now. Or so I didn't want people to feel or experience any form of negative emotions because of me. I remember I broke up with a girl back in like 10th grade or something, and I had say, hey, can we meet and talk? I saw it on a movie. And
no, you couldn't. He starts going through the script.
Yeah.
And so I saw it on a movie, whatever. So I called, I said, hey, can you meet me at the mall? Oh man, I loved her to death. She was so nice to me.
She said, meet me at the mall.
It's going down.
She's like, why are you saying it like that?
Right, bro. So we met, we sat on the bench, and I said, look, I mean, I like you to death, but it's not really working for me right now. I'm going to college, other stuff is changing. I'm not really know what's going on. And she cried so hard, and I felt so bad. I liked her, but it just wasn't working for the time being, whatever. And that marred me.
Wow.
Like seeing her tears and her crying, that wasn't the only thing. That probably wasn't the first thing, but that was the first instance I saw when I attempted to do something like that. And that was
which was the right thing to do, but your perspective on what happened impacted how you dealt with things later on in life.
And then and so from henceforth, I shied away from those hard conversations.
Started ghosting everybody.
I never ghosted. No. I would.
You just don't talk about what's bothering you because you're trying to avoid the conversation in general.
Exactly. So I probably stayed places too long. I'm the king of staying in places too long, being associated with people for too long, allowing things to exist for too long, for the sake of peace, not having conflict, or not having to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about therapy is like moments like that, right? Where in the moment you were doing the right thing. So I think I'll call it like a perspective switch, right? One of our last sessions, we were talking about, why I am the way I am right now, right? And there was one particular situation in a past relationship where we got into an argument, and I stayed in the room, was just pissed off. She slept on the couch, and I heard her crying the whole night. And I was just mad. I was like, I ain't going fucking out there. Fuck this shit. And that situation the next however long has impacted me negatively because I was like, man, I can't believe I was that kind of person. I should have just got up and said something. Not because I wanted to save the relationship, because like that's what a nice person does, right? Yeah. But in therapy, when I talked about this, the perspective switch is what I love, is that she was like, well, you know, you had a reason to be upset. You can be mad and go through your feelings too. And just because she's crying doesn't mean you have to go save her everywhere. And I was like, so in an instant, a switch went from a negative to a, oh, I did do the right thing. All this time I've been holding on, and not like it's always on my mind, but it's somewhere that I would reflect on every once in a while. Like, man, I guess I can still hear her crying. Why didn't I just go and say something to be a nice person?
Yeah.
But I needed to, in that moment, I was mad. I needed to go through my different emotions as well.
And that's crazy you say that, because when you grow up like that, and I grew up in a pretty abusive home. So, you know, you decide how you're going to survive that situation, however. But the way that you navigate things is from the age of your womb. And so I would navigate things from the 10-year-old little scared little boy, you know, or I'll make decisions from that place too. And so you find yourself, but then you don't realize that you're so busy being in protective mode, and you're so busy being or trying to be the best person to everyone, that you don't, like, I get to feel too. Like I get to decide how I
need to feel.
And I don't have to feel a certain way based off of your feelings or what I think you need to feel at that moment. Like I have a right to preserve myself and save myself. And once I realized that and took the autonomy back and be like, oh, wait, it's not about her liking me, but do I like her?
Mm-hmm. You never think about it. That's I guess that's something that we had uncovered, was bending to other people's feelings and their emotions so easily and so much throughout your life tends to have you give you an identity crisis when you're much older. Like, oh, what do I like? What do I do in situations like this? How do I feel? I'm allowed to feel this way. I'm allowed to not feel like I have to say sorry, or I have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to do so much unlearning and identifying like who I am.
If you're lucky enough, because a lot of people never unlearn anything and they stay in that same box.
It's a paradigm of being a victim, and it's crazy. It's so many people out there, and it's not even because I don't really operate in judgment, but you realize the more you heal and the more you grow on this journey, and the older we get, the air becomes thinner. There's less and less people who's had the luxury or even the opportunity to even come into the awareness of I need to heal. And you see that through your relationships as you go. And this is all kind of shit, friendships, work relationships, intimate relationships, whatever. And you start to see, oh, this person's perspective. Oh, you need to heal, or you need to do the work. But also you realize I can't be in union with you. I can't be in partnership with you. I cannot be in a relationship with you because you have not done the work and you're not where I'm at. Not from a haughty place of I'm better than you.
And I want you to get there.
Yeah, but it's gonna, if I work with you, it's gonna breed nothing but dysfunction. And the reason why we're coming together, we're not gonna reach our common goal because you haven't done the work yet. And so therefore you can't be in union with me in any shape, form, or fashion. And now I stand on that because it's not the water that's outside the ship that sinks it. It's the water that's inside the ship that gets inside that sinks the ship.